Reddit stories.
Alright, listen up, guys. I've been delivering pizza for Sal's Pizzeria for about 2 years now. I thought I'd seen everything a delivery guy could possibly see. I've seen dudes fighting in their pajamas over the last slice. I've had people try to pay me in stolen crypto keys. I even delivered to a house that was literally just a massive pile of cardboard boxes on the inside. But what happened last Tuesday? Life definitely did not prepare me for this. It was almost midnight, rain was absolutely hammering the windshield, and this was my very last order of the shift. 2 large meat lovers and a 2-liter bottle of Coke. The address was a luxury apartment complex in a really nice part of town. I was already mentally counting my tips and planning how I'd get home and fire up the PlayStation. Yeah, I should have known better. I park, grab the insulated bags, and head up to the 4th floor. I ring the doorbell. Silence for about 30 seconds. Then I hear a muffled, "Just a second. I'm almost dressed." Now, usually, that means the guy is scrambling to find pants or throwing on a bathrobe. So I stand there, wait, and stare at the hallway walls. Standard procedure. The door swings open, and I swear on my life, my soul left my body for a second. Standing right in front of me is a dude, probably about 65 years old. He is wearing nothing but a pair of bright red cowboy boots and a massive 10-gallon hat. Nothing else. Zip. Zilch. He was the color of a glazed donut and looked me dead in the eye with zero shame, like he was the king of the world. "Ah, perfect timing," he booms, his voice so deep the floor probably vibrated. "The sheriff is here to collect his taxes." I froze. My brain was trying to process this visual information while simultaneously trying to delete it forever. My fight or flight response had mutated into just stand there and blink awkwardly. I stammered, holding the pizza boxes out in front of me like a shield. "2 meat lovers?" "Exactly," he says, taking the boxes from me. "Come on in. My wife is just..." And at that exact moment, a woman, also senior, walks out of the hallway in a matching blue cowboy hat. Thankfully, she was in a full bathrobe and a massive confetti cannon in her hands. She yells surprise and pulls the trigger. A total glitter bomb explodes right in this naked cowboy's face. Glitter is everywhere, in his hat, on his bald head, on the ceiling, and all over me. He just stands there, laughing, totally covered in this sparkling multicolored trash. "We have a tradition," he explains, like this is the most normal thing in the world. The first pizza of the month gets the gold. He hands me a $20 tip. I thanked him, turned around, and practically ran back to my car. I still find glitter on my steering wheel, and honestly, now every time I see a cowboy hat, my eye starts to twitch. It was the absolute weirdest delivery of my life. Story 2. The Silent Cult of the Frozen Fish. You think you know your neighborhood until you go and deliver a pizza at 1 a.m. on a Friday. This story still gives me the creeps when I think about it. An order comes in, 1 single large cheese pizza. The neighborhood is kind of sketchy, old identical houses, and half the streetlights are burned out. I pull up to the house. It is a complete black hole. No porch light, no lights inside, and the windows are all covered up with aluminum foil. Typical horror movie intro where the delivery guy gets eaten first. But I had to make my quota, so I got out of the car. I walked up the broken concrete path, every twig snapping under my feet sounding like someone was about to jump out at me. I ring the doorbell. It made this awful buzzing sound that echoed through the whole neighborhood. Silence. I wait about 2 minutes. I was just about to mark it as customer not found and get the hell out of there when I hear the lock click. The door opens only about 4 inches. A face appears in the gap. Pale, almost gray, with huge dark circles under his eyes, like he hadn't slept since the USSR dissolved. He is wearing a black t-shirt that just says silence in big plain letters. He doesn't say a word. He just stares at me. Pizza for Greg? I ask, trying to hide that I'm totally creeped out. He nods. Once. I wait for him to reach for his wallet. Instead, he just keeps staring. I hold out the box. He doesn't take it. We stood there like that for a full minute. It was the longest minute of my life. Finally, I just slid the box through the gap in the door. He caught it instantly, without a sound. Okay, I think, great, now where's the cash? He slowly reaches into his pocket. My heart is pounding. Knife? Gun? Fistful of money? No. He pulls out a bag of frozen fish sticks. He holds them up to the gap and shoves them almost in my face. I look from the fish to him, and back to the fish. Sorry man, I can't accept fish sticks as payment. I need $18.50. He didn't even blink. He just started pushily pressing this cold bag of fish into my hand. I peeked over his shoulder into the darkness of the house, and I swear, I saw like 5 or 6 other people sitting in a circle in the living room, completely motionless, and every single one of them was holding a bag of frozen fish. They were just staring at the floor in complete silence. Greg, I said, now almost whispering, just give me whatever money you have. Suddenly, he drops the fish sticks on the floor, pulls out a crumpled wad of bills, shoves them into my hand, and slams the door shut. I counted the money when I got back to the car. Exactly $19. The fish sticks just stayed there on his porch. I'm still convinced I accidentally interrupted some kind of cult ritual dedicated to frozen seafood. I don't take deliveries to that street anymore. Couriers, tell us your craziest stories. Story 1. The Naked Cowboy and the Glitter Ambush. Story 3. The hostage situation at the furry party. Let me tell you about the time I became the main character in a hostage negotiation I didn't even know was happening. It started with a huge order, 5 large pepperonis. A corporate thing or a massive party. Awesome, I thought, usually good tips there. The address was for a conference room in a hotel. I arrive, head up to the 2nd floor. In the hallway, I hear music, some wild mix of heavy metal and opera? Weird combo, but whatever. I kick the door open, since my hands are full of boxes, and I almost drop the whole load. In front of me is a closed furry party. A full room of people in massive animal mascot suits. Like 30 of them. The music immediately stops, and all these plush heads, wolves, foxes, cats, simultaneously turn to look at me. It was like a horror movie, just really fluffy. A guy in a bright green wolf costume with a neon collar runs up to me. The meat has arrived. Rejoice, brethren! He yells through his mask. The entire crowd starts clapping and howling. I felt like I had brought them the Holy Grail. This green wolf grabs me by the elbow and drags me to the stage. I try to resist. Hey man, I just need to get paid. Yeah, right. He stands me in the middle of the stage and announces, we cannot begin the Great Munch until our sacred courier is compensated. He hands me a pouch full of cash. Now, he says, turning to the crowd, our hostage Barnaby, this sad-looking dude in a squirrel costume, will not be released until everyone eats at least 1 slice. I realized I was the trigger for their game. I stood on that stage for 20 minutes while Barnaby the squirrel pleaded for people to eat faster because he really had to go to the bathroom. The green wolf would not let me go. No. You must witness the ritual. The courier must be the one to give the thumbs-up approval. It was the peak of absurdity. I stood there and watched grown men in animal costumes try to eat pizza without getting sauce on their expensive fur suits. Finally, when the last slice was gone, the wolf bowed to me, your duty is complete. Go in peace, sacred courier. He threw another $20 on top. I left that room with a pocket full of cash and the feeling that I had just visited another planet. Now when I see stuffed animals in a store, I think of Barnaby the hostage. Story 4. The House of 1,000 Candles and the Silver Spoons. So, I get this call around 10:30 p.m. 1 veggie pizza and 6 cans of root beer. Simple enough, right? The address was this massive old Victorian house near the university. Now, I've delivered to some frat houses that looked like war zones, but this place was different. As I pulled up, I noticed there wasn't a single electric light on. Not on the porch, not in the street, nothing. Instead, the entire front of the house was covered in candles. I'm talking hundreds of them. They were on the porch railings, lined up on the stone steps, and flickering in every single window. It looked like a movie set for a Victorian horror film. I grabbed the pizza and the root beer thinking, okay, maybe they're just super into the dark academic aesthetic. I walked up the creaky wooden stairs, trying not to knock over any of the flames. I hit the doorbell, one of those old-school manual ones you have to twist. Clang. The sound echoed through the whole neighborhood. The door creaked open, and this girl stands there wearing what looked like a hand-woven robe. She didn't say hi or how much. She just looked at me and yelled back into the dark house, "The offering has arrived. Sisters, gather." Suddenly, 3 other women emerged from the shadows, all carrying, you guessed it, more candles. They surrounded me on the porch in a semicircle. It was the most awkward 4 minutes of my life. I'm just standing there in my greasy work polo, holding a box of veggies and cheese, while they're chanting something under their breath. "We do not accept the root beer," the leader declared suddenly. Her voice was way too dramatic for a Tuesday night. "It contains the high fructose corn syrup of the shadow realm. We only ordered it to test your spirit." I was exhausted. I just wanted to go home and play video games. I said, "Look ladies, spirit test or not, it's $16.50 for the pizza. Do you have cash or what?" The leader handed me a small leather pouch. I opened it, and it was full of $1 bills, but every single one of them was folded into an intricate origami crane. I had to sit there for 5 minutes unfolding 16 paper birds just to make sure I wasn't being scammed. Then she hands me another pouch. "This is for the root beer sacrifice," she said. I opened it, expecting more paper birds. Nope. It was full of vintage, tarnished silver spoons. Like antique, engraved spoons that looked like they belonged in a museum or a haunted attic. "I can't pay for gas with spoons," I told her. But she just shook her head, said "May the root guide you," and they all blew out their candles at the exact same time, leaving me in total darkness. I stumbled down the stairs, tripped over a decorative pumpkin, and drove away with a bag of spoons. I checked later. The spoons were actually worth about $50 at a pawn shop. Weirdest tip ever. Story 5. Wild Bill's Snake Pit. This is the story that actually made me consider quitting the pizza game for good. I had a delivery to a semi-rural address, way out where the streetlights end and the woods begin. It was a big order, 3 large pizzas and 2 buckets of wings. I drive up this long gravel driveway to an old weathered farmhouse. The yard was a mess, rusted tractors, old car parts, and about 20 empty glass fish tanks scattered around the grass. I get out of the car, balancing the stack of pizzas, and walk up to the porch. The screen door was shut, but the heavy oak door behind it was wide open. "Hello? Pizza delivery," I yelled. I heard a gravelly voice from somewhere deep in the house. "Come on in, son. Door's open." I'm in the back. Now, rule number 1 of being a delivery guy is, never go into the house. But it was starting to rain, and I didn't want the boxes to get soggy, so I figured I'd just step into the entryway. Big mistake. Huge. The second my boot hit the carpet, I heard it. A dry, rhythmic, high-pitched shhhshhshhshh. It's a sound you only need to hear once in your life to know exactly what it is. A rattlesnake. I froze. I didn't move a muscle. I looked down to my left, and right there, next to a dusty bookshelf, was a coiled rattlesnake the size of a dinner plate, buzzing its tail at me. Then I looked to my right. There was another one on the rug. I looked at the coffee table. There was a freaking python just chilling on top of a stack of magazines. The whole living room was a free-roaming reptile sanctuary. Bill! I screamed, my voice cracking like a middle schooler's. Bill, there are snakes on your floor. A massive guy with a beard down to his belly button walks out of the kitchen, casually holding a small boa constrictor like it was a TV remote. Oh, don't mind the welcoming committee, he laughed. They're mostly for show. They just ate on Sunday, they won't mess with you. Mostly. I yelled, holding the pizzas over my head like I was trying to save them from a flood. Bill, get me out of here. I am not moving. Bill just chuckled and shook his head. Kids these days. No backbone. Just slide the boxes onto the table, kid. The snakes don't like pepperoni anyway. I had to carefully step over a coiled-up reptile that looked very annoyed to reach the table. I set the pizzas down, and Bill handed me a wad of cash that smelled like raw fish and wet dog. He gave me a $30 tip, probably because he enjoyed watching me nearly have a heart attack. I backed out of that house so fast I almost fell off the porch. I didn't even say, "Have a nice day." I just got in my car, locked the doors, and checked my back seat 5 times to make sure no hitchhikers had followed me. I love animals, but I prefer mine behind glass or in a National Geographic documentary, not hanging out by my feet while I'm trying to make a living. Story 6. The 200-person prank. If you work in food delivery long enough, you'll eventually get pranked. Usually, it's just a fake address or someone ordering 10 pizzas to their math teacher's house. But this was professional level. I got an order for 20 large pizzas. The bill was almost $400. Usually, for an order this big, the manager calls to confirm, but the person had already paid online with a credit card, so we just made the food. I loaded my entire car, back seat, trunk, passenger floor, with the smell of pepperoni. The address was a massive, expensive-looking mansion at the end of a cul-de-sac. When I pulled up, the house was completely dark. No cars in the driveway. I'm thinking, great, I'm about to get jumped or this is a huge mistake. I walked up to the front door, heart racing. I rang the bell. Suddenly, the entire house, I mean every single light, flashed on at once. It was blinding. And then, the front door didn't just open, it burst open. About 200 teenagers in matching white t-shirts ran out from behind the bushes, from the garage, and down the stairs inside. They weren't aggressive, they were cheering like I was a rock star. They formed 2 lines, creating a tunnel from my car to the front door. The pizza god has arrived. One kid screamed into a megaphone. They started a chant, "P-I-Z-Z-A God. P-I-Z-Z-A God." They wouldn't let me carry a single box. They literally picked me up, like full-on crowd surfing, and passed me from the driveway all the way into the living room. I'm a grown man, and I'm being carried by a bunch of high schoolers while 20 pizzas are being marched in behind me like a royal procession. It turns out it was a silent party, for a local TikToker's birthday. Everyone was wearing headphones, which is why it was so quiet when I pulled up. They had timed my GPS location so they could all hide and surprise me. After the chaos died down, the kid whose house it was apologized for the scare. He handed me an extra $100 in cash and a slice of his own birthday cake. "Sorry for the lift, man," he said. "We just wanted the video to look epic." I spent the rest of my shift covered in cake frosting and feeling like a celebrity. It was the only time a prank actually made my night better instead of worse. But seriously, guys, please don't crowd surf your delivery drivers. My back still hurts. Well, thanks for watching. Subscribe, like the video, and share your story in the comments.